This is all about you, right?
I tell my kids.
Welcome back to Live from LA County podcast. Look, folks, we are back with another episode of the podcast where we explore the people and ideas that are shaping our community and our future. So today, we have present with us an awesome gentleman. I got to tell you, this guy is hilarious.
Oh, you're good.
He's engaged. He is doing a lot for just county employees in general. And we're going to get into it today. So let me do a little bit of intro for you. Let me kind of, blow the horn for you. All right. So
If I
hold
start
on.
to blush.
Don't blush. You didn't. So let me just read a couple things for you.
Thank you.
So today's guest is someone at the forefront of defending rights. I'm honored to introduce Ricardo D. García, and he's the public defender here in the county of Los Angeles. And since taking office in 2018, Ricardo really has been the voice and a leader for indigent defense. And he's taking on not only legal challenges in the courtroom, of course, through his team, but pushing for reforms, dignity, systematic change throughout the entire justice system. Because as many of you know, the way LA County goes, the way the nation goes. We really are leaders. And so we'll explore today what it means to lead the largest public defender's office in the United States. And folks, you've heard that from a lot of our departments. And that speaks to the size and scope of all of our departments throughout the county. And we're going to talk about how they manage their heavy caseloads without losing sight of the humanity that's required when someone finds themselves in need of the public defender's help. We're going to talk about how justice reform succeeds and where it hits roadblocks and what's next for equitable legal representation. We'll also hit a bit about his personal history, what drove him to this work, and what values does he lean in on as he looks to the future of the work that he engages in. So without further ado, let's talk to Ricardo.
Thank you, Rodney.
All right.
Great intro. I appreciate
Thank you.
that. Thank you so much.
Because this is all about you, right?
Don't tell my kids.
Well, I hope they see this and they really recognize how awesome of a leader you are.
Thank you.
And I'm hoping not only them, but your workers, as well as our other county employees, as well as folks who are in law school or thinking about, your office and what they can do for them, right, are seeing this and really see your heart. So let me start off with, this is the question that our audience has leaned in on. They really appreciate this opening question. Every one of our guests have answered it.
All right.
What's your LA County story?
I knew you'd ask that because
Of course
I've been
you
watching.
did.
What is my LA County story is like a lot of Angelinos, but a little bit different, because it's unique to me. I'm the son of immigrants. My parents came here at the end of the 1960s, as my kids like to say it. I was born in the late 1900s.
Okay.
And they came here for the same reason a lot of people did. The life they had in Mexico wasn't the life that they were hoping to create for themselves as a family. My grandmother had already come here. And they came and, like many families, didn't quite work out. My mother ended up by herself raising 4 children. And we settled for the most part on the west side in Santa Monica, as this wonderful poster has behind us, although we didn't have the Ferris wheel back then, right away. And we did a lot of moving. We moved from Santa Monica to the West LA, even far south to San Diego, Culver City back. We were very nomadic in our lives. I went to 11 different schools. So this was the foundation of my start in LA. But after a very short time, we moved to Mexico City.
Okay.
To be where my mom thought there would be more support. And then we came back. So as you can see, we came back to LA. LA always was sort of and is the family base for us.
Yes.
My siblings still live here.
Okay.
My mom doesn't anymore, but she moved away, and this is always a place. My grandmother rented an apartment under rent control in 1972, and my sister still lives in that apartment
Nice.
to this day. So there's a lot of deep connection with LA. The thing I like to say is that although that is our connection with LA, my personal part was always much more transitory. I went away to college in the Bay Area. As you know, and a lot of people know, I did a lot of my career in San Diego.
Yeah.
And I thought of LA as more of the home base. Like I said, this was where my roots were, my people were. And I didn't understand how much of who I am was defined by this incredible county and the city itself, and the people and diversity and the equity and just the plurality of this community until I moved back with this job. And
Nice.
I went from the west side in Santa Monica where I grew up to now I live on the east side, and I feel that's given me a real great flavor. So my history with this community is deep, passionate, and I feel blessed to be able to spend my career, this part of my career here.
Ricardo, I always equated you with San Diego because we knew that that's where we stole you from. Sorry, San Diego, but we got them now. And so I had no idea that you had such deep roots to LA County, and that's good to know. It speaks to your understanding of who we are, who they are as a community, right?
It has really been what has formed. I didn't understand it until I came back here.
Okay.
That my history here is what formed the way I do my work. We grew up poor. My mother struggled with 4 kids, but one of the things that she taught us was it didn't matter if we didn't have a whole lot of food on the table.
Yeah.
It didn't matter if we didn't have a whole lot of space in the house. There was always room for someone else.
Nice.
There was always place to give to another person. Because if they were coming to our house, it means they were more in need than we were.
Yes.
And so if they were going to come there, my mother was going to make sure there was a place for them.
I see it. Everything you've just talked about speaks to me about how you show up for a fight, right? In the work that you do, which we're going to get into in a moment. But let me ask you about like the transition from where you grew up, how you grew up, to that decision to do public service. How do you make that transition, and what was it that led you to think about public service instead of working at a big law firm and staying there, being that kind of attorney?
That was really a defining part of who I am that I didn't understand at first. When I finished law school, I didn't really know exactly what I wanted to do. I did know that I didn't want to go work for that big law firm. Money, important, you need to survive. We didn't have a lot, so I wanted to have enough to take care of my family. That was always a driving force behind me. But I was not driven by the need for material wealth or material things.
Okay.
And so because of the way I described, my mother raised us to always make space for people and to help our neighbors. I knew I wanted to help people in the law, but I didn't know exactly what that was, or I didn't understand how to do it. Luckily, I had good friends in law school that maybe understood that about me more than I did, and they steered me towards public defense.
Okay.
And suggested that I apply. And I did for San Diego, but I'll tell you, if I'm being perfectly honest, when I started the work, I didn't have that connection with public service and the job. At that point, I thought, look, I'm going to go be a trial lawyer.
Get work.
I'm going to be pay the bills, put some food that I'd never had, maybe add a steak to the beans and rice that we ate all the time, or that I did as a young person, and sort of begin my development as a young person. I didn't understand that lesson that my mother had given us, that my grandmother had given us to really help people that were even less fortunate than us, was ingrained in my professional DNA. So as I started to do public defense, I really wanted to fight and be the best lawyer. I want to get in there and really win. I wanted to win for me, if I'm being honest. And my clients were the beneficiaries of that drive, that competitiveness, that decision to be first. Over time, I began to change my thinking about it as I began to understand my clients, and it stopped being my clients, but the people I serve. And in 2004, I came back to LA from San Diego briefly to work for the ACLU. And I was their criminal justice director for a couple years. Great organization, great work, but not for me. And what it was is I came to understand that my work, my need as a professional, my place was helping individuals.
Yes.
That's when public service really struck home for me.
Okay.
That's when I understood that being a public defender was what I was going to do for the rest of my life, and it was a passion, because in that work I could take my skill set, my capacity, what I'd learned in law school, and help one individual as best I could. And while I was not responsible or could not fix what had gotten them in there in the first place, nor could I predict where they would go afterwards, I did give them 100% of me the moments that I was with them. And that changed. That made me understand I serve them.
Yeah, got it. And that's driven you, and I'm sure drives your office today. That philosophy on how you all operate.
I think that's 100% right. We
Okay.
are a client-centered. A beacon for client-centered representation. That is
Awesome.
in our vision statement. And what that means is that we want to be that beacon of light that draws the idea that we work for these individuals. We are there to serve them and their needs.
Nice.
And we need to listen to them, we need to respect them,
Yeah.
and we need to engage with them.
All right. So let's, and we'll get back to kind of the service piece of this, but I want to get into a little bit more about who you are, because now you got me fascinated, like with your background, and I'm sure the audience is feeling the exact same way. So tell me a little bit about what outside of work are you passionate about that folks will be a little surprised to know that our public defender is passionate about fill in the blank.
Oh, well, some people in the county know, and certainly people that work with me know, not all of them, that I'm passionate. Other than my family, my wife and my two boys, which are really first for me,
That's right.
it is riding a motorcycle and jujitsu, and what those two do for balance in my life. I'm a strong proponent that to be good at what you do and to be passionate about the work you do as a public servant, you have to be passionate about yourself and the things that you love to do. And for me, getting on a motorcycle, helmet, maybe a little music, heading on the road, even if I'm with other people, things fade away. And my focus is on the leaning, on the turns, on the power. It is intoxicating. Now, if you're not a motorcyclist, I get it. You're going, that's crazy. Yes, everybody, I know it's dangerous. Yes, I do take care of myself. I wear full gear, knee pads, elbow pads, leathers, helmet. I'm not reckless. I take care of myself. I want to be there for my kids, and God willing, if I have grandkids. The other thing is jujitsu for some of the same reasons. In jujitsu, there's a point where when a person is trying to choke you into unconsciousness, everything else becomes secondary, whether it's work or the mortgage or the rent, the bills, even your home challenges, all that stuff, again, fades away. And what these two activities do that I love to do so much is it gives me perspective. It allows me to shut out the chaos for a little bit. And so when that chaos comes back, it's been quiet and I can listen and innovate and think about ideas and hopefully move in a better direction.
How often do you actually, knowing the level of responsibilities that you have right now, how often do you get to enjoy stepping outside of the chaos and getting to enjoy jiu-jitsu, for example?
Well, jiu-jitsu's, luckily, I get up every morning at 4:35 in the
Golden.
morning.
Golden, folks. Look at this.
Every morning.
If he can do it, like
Y'all can do it.
we can all do it.
I get up, I have a few minutes with my wife. We have coffee together,
Yes.
which is critical. And then we go and exercise. And some days I go to the gym with her and we work out together. Other days she runs or does CrossFit and I go to jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
So by 6 in the morning, 6:30, 6 o'clock, we're in the gym. We're exercising. By 7, we're done. And so that hour belongs to me.
Got it.
That hour is mine, and I take advantage of it. Sometimes if I'm really lucky and the day ends relatively early, I can head in and do some jiu-jitsu in the evenings. Motorcycling is a little different. I become a fair weather rider. It's got to be between 65 and 85 degrees, anything on either end of those. So coming up in the fall's a nice time.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'll ride into work. It's just that short ride. my secretary, or Jenny, since when I walk in with that helmet,
Yeah.
she's been known to say, it's going to be a good day today.
That's right.
Because it doesn't matter what happens.
That's right.
I got that helmet. I look at it. I put it on at the end of the day, and I get home with a smile.
Yeah. So growing up, the oldest of, now you were the oldest of 7, right?
Yes, but raised with with 4 of us.
Okay, and raised with 4. And I understand that you were the first to attend college in your family.
That's right, first for college.
And how did, talk to me about that experience, like being the first to attend college and really kind of being that I'm going to assume, because it kind of happened for me, you kind of become the beacon of hope, right? What was that your experience? Or was it just expected because you were the oldest and your parents were guiding you to that?
No, in fact, they weren't guiding me to that. I think there was sort of this general discussion about college and even law school, being a lawyer. But the idea of being a lawyer came from my grandmother watching L.A. Law. And the truth is, she thought Jimmy Smits was the most handsome
man.
Yeah, in a suit.
What?
Right? And handsome Latino guy on screen.
Yeah.
And the only person that might be in her mind, my grandma.
Yeah.
You know, those of you who have grandmas like this, you understand exactly what I'm talking about. Her oldest grandson, if he had a suit on, he could be successful, is what she saw on TV.
Okay.
So that's the idea of a lawyer. I think it was challenging because, in a family like ours, not everybody has the same capacities, interests, or skill set. I am blessed to have really amazing, brilliant siblings, all of whom are so different. Yeah. My sister is a therapist and an artist who's a year younger than me, Adriana, lives in Santa Monica, like I said, in the same place. My brother Robert is incredible with music and physical talent, 2 kids. He is an amazing manager of his team, runs them. People will do anything for him. Yeah. My sister Elisa, the youngest one, who lives in Long Beach, she does massage and she does jewelry, and she's kind of a new agey person and is just absolutely beautiful. So my family, I think the example that I set, was to pursue your dream.
Yeah.
Do what you want to do, whatever that is. No one has to follow necessarily, but what they do have to do is do it with passion and commitment, and regardless of what we each do, we can be proud of it and proud of one another.
At some point, grandma aside, right?
Yeah.
So grandma's telling you, were you hearing it? Like if grandma, at some point you talked about grandma and Jimmy, and ultimately you did it. Like, what was that transition for you? Was it like, how do you decide now I want to be an attorney?
Well,
or did you know at the age of 5, at the
No.
age of 10,
No.
at the age of 15?
No, I didn't even know necessarily once I started law school that I wanted to be an attorney. I think, when I went to college, I have a learning disability, and it was a struggle until I got some support.
Identified. Yeah.
Right, and once I got that identified and was given supportive service, education blossomed.
Nice.
Knowledge became like this thing I hungered for. And so as I took more classes and learned more things, I fell in love with philosophy. I fell in love with political theory. Yeah. I fell in love with social theory, and I became completely engrossed in why people do what they do and form community. So I thought I was going to go back to Santa Cruz, which is where I did my undergraduate, and get a degree in history of consciousness. That's what I thought I would be doing. If there were 2 of me, that would be my alternate reality. Okay. But if I'm being honest, there was that voice. My grandmother was still, and she said, you can always go back to school. You can always, not understanding what that is at higher education. You can always, but now you got to go out there and make some money. You've got to do something that you can always fall back on. In her mind and my family's mind, you could always fall back on law. That could materialize in being able to pay the bills. Yes. Maybe not as a teacher. That was our understanding. So that's what drove me, that kept me going. And when I started law school, I really did not know what I was into or what I was in for. And I was not a fan of it. It wasn't like I have friends that loved it. I was not one of those people that loved law school.
Yeah, yeah. I think many people see it like, after you graduate from undergrad, like, what do I do now? Yeah. And law school is certainly, for many of the folks that may be watching, young folks, it becomes an option. And I know how many people attend, but, it speaks volumes that you ultimately found your way with that law degree, and you tried some things and then you found what worked.
I think that's right. And I think the benefit was, and to be candid, I was fortunate. I went to UC Berkeley, and that's an exceptional school that opens a lot of doors.
Yes.
And when young people ask me all the time, when they're applying to law school, what should I do? I tell them, and I tell all of you, if there's any of you out there that are thinking about going to law school, want to apply, and wondering where to go, apply to the top schools that you think that you can't get into. Let them say no to you. Not because you should be going to one of the best schools in the country or not, but because good or bad, there are doors that will be available to you open that may not be available otherwise. It won't matter necessarily once you're practicing, but it's the start of it. So don't tell yourself no. Let the people who are in the position of power tell you no.
Yeah. Man, that right there, folks, is a lesson that you can apply in so many ways to so many things. Don't tell yourself no, right?
That's right.
We've had people sitting in these seats who told themselves no about this position, about being a department head. And it took somebody else sharing with them, like, you can do this.
Yeah.
You can be this. So I appreciate that point. Now, look, we talked about you being the first in your family to go to college, but there's also another first, right?
Yeah.
And shall I say it or shall you? What's some other first in your life that you are or have done?
Well, if it's the one I think you're thinking of, because there's a couple out there.
Yeah, okay.
But I think you're thinking of the fact that I am the first Latino Mexican heritage to run what is the first and the largest public defender office, not just in the country, but I think at this point the world.
Yeah.
That is an incredible first for me. It is one that sits with me both heavy on my shoulders as a responsibility and a weight, but also one that lifts me up and feels like such a privilege and an honor to be able to sit there. One I didn't even know when I started the job. Someone told me, I wish, really not in LA. How's that possible in the county of Los Angeles that a person with an A at the last end of their name, so to speak, García, is the first Latino? And so, but it's been a privilege. It is a privilege.
Over 100-year history, you've made history, right?
I have.
You'll go down in those books as someone, as a first here in this county. And I hear you about the heaviness on your shoulders, but you're doing a good job.
Thank you.
You're wearing it well, my man. You're
appreciate
wearing
that.
it well. So are there, what does, there's this question here that the team wrote about your 100-year history, and I think you already talked about kind of what the milestone means, but how has the communities that you represent, like knowing who we are as LA, and you represent different communities, and being a person of color, how has that helped you relate to the communities here in Los Angeles County?
That's a tough question, I'll be honest with you.
Okay.
Because it presumes that as a man of color, that I somehow have some special insight into all the communities of color.
Oh, you're deep. He's deep.
And I don't. Sometimes I feel like I miss the mark with my own community. Other times I think I'm right on. And I'll draw a parallel. It's like parenting.
Yes.
I got 2 boys. Sometimes I'm right on it with them. And this is my flesh and blood. But other times I'm so off base with what their needs are and their interests are that they're looking at me like, who is this guy sharing space in our house? And I would not presume to know what everyone feels within our communities of whatever the community is that has been historically disadvantaged or forgotten or ignored in LA or elsewhere. But I think what it does do for me is it gives me respect for them. I do not see communities, and I'll use this term just because it's an easy term, and I apologize to anyone that finds it problematic, communities of color. I don't see a up or down of it. I see we're all in this together, and I can respect and love the beautiful diversity and complexity of every human being. I don't have to look back past their culture or their race or their history and try to make them monochromatic.
Yes.
I embrace
all of it.
All of it. I
As
love
it comes.
That's right. Every bit of it.
Yeah.
So I think having grown up in that and having experienced not just personal prejudice and biases, but institutional racism and systemic racism, I see how that impacts not just me, but other people, and I'm empathetic to it.
That is an amazing perspective, nuanced answer that gives me a deeper understanding about how you're thinking about this work and how you show up, right? And how you show up. So can you, as we talk about the work that you do and how you do show up for these communities, can you illustrate for us maybe a story that really illustrates the power of the work of your office and the power of the, maybe it's a personal case that you've had, or a case that your office has had that really, or some of the other work, right? We know that there are folks that are, I'm just going to say it, in prison or in jail that in some cases probably should not be there. And are there some cases that really that emphasize the work that you all are doing?
Yes, of course. Yeah, there's a couple that personal cases define, I think, that for me, but I don't want to start there.
Okay.
I want to start with the work we do here in LA that is powerful and community redefining. So I think one of the things is something that people wouldn't necessarily expect. People think of public defenders and they think of the four corners of a charging document and their lawyer who's going to be in there and fighting for them in court. And that is the keystone of the work we do. That is our leverage in the criminal legal system. But one of the things that we do is our expungement team, right? And I didn't quite understand how important that was. They don't reach thousands of people like our trial teams do every year. They reach in the hundreds. But what they do is they give hope. They go to a community function. They go to a library. They go to a space where people show up and they give them hope. Hey, I'm worried about this thing from my past affecting me tomorrow or today. And even though many of the laws have changed so that your priors don't keep you from getting a house or keep you from getting education or keep you from getting public services, people don't understand that or don't believe it. They don't trust government. Come on, that's the truth.
Yeah.
They don't believe that this is going to give them that freedom. So they show up, and rather than saying, hey, don't worry about it, well, you're okay, we take it and we do what we can to resolve that, because they feel better when that document that they've been carrying in their wallet, and they have been carrying their wallet or their bag for years, concerned that if someone stops them, they can show it, look, I'm trying to take care of this, or it's been expunged, or it's not, that we take that off their hands in that way. That work is so powerful. And that team, as small and mighty as they are out there every single day. The other thing that I think our team does, and that is, in my mind, amazing, is the level of leadership within not just our executives, but with our line managers, who, I flattened out the organization, and what I did was create a space where everyone's opinion and ideas mattered. Can't always do what everybody wants to do. And so it's create a place where managers work within community and work with the unhoused to provide food, and not just legal advice, but support. They go and volunteer as a team. An entire office will go volunteer to pack groceries.
Yes.
Right? Or the people from one of our affinity groups will volunteer and spend time handing out water on a particularly hot day, right? Or another group will volunteer and will build the first ever LGBTQ plus float for the parade. Yeah. And the public defender will be on this thing floating down the road with everybody else, and they will see us. So this passion for the work and connecting with community and being aware that we are as diverse and as important as the members of the community that we represent.
Yeah. Well, look, thank you, public defender staff, for showing up
100%.
And really being a part of the solution for our community. I'm impressed. I didn't know, I see you all, and I'll tell you where I saw you all. Early on in my career, I recall you all doing, the team doing live scan on at like events and helping people understand like what does your record say, and then you all assist with what can we do, what can we do about it. And so I know you guys have your mobile van. DHR is a little jealous. We would love a van for maybe hiring or something. So QPC, we're coming for you. But we see you all out in the community doing that work. And thank you, staff. Thank you, team, for doing that.
No, I think, and on that, last thing I'll say about that is that it's allowed us to do something that has become really a revolutionary model. Talk about revolutionary representation, which is the community outreach court. Started off as a pilot, and now it is a court. We take the courthouse, the court, to the community, to the unhoused community in Skid Row.
Great.
And we provide not just expungement services, but actual misdemeanor case resolution and not even warm handoff, direct, they're right there, service introduction for people that are struggling with the epidemic of being unhoused in Los Angeles and America, and hopefully get them one step closer to being sheltered and finding a home and resolving. So that team, I am so incredibly proud of all of you. You do such great work, and thank you.
Showing up where the people are.
They do.
That need the help.
Show up.
Man. All right. So let's talk about, like, I'm hearing you appreciate your employees, which, some of the other folks who have had the opportunity to sit in that chair. And the one thing I'm learning is how you show up for your employees, but how you thank your employees and how you share the wins of your employees. Forget your self-worth. When I see leaders doing that, it really does mark for me someone who is in tune with leadership and recognizing that they can't do it all. But I want to pivot and I want to think about you for a second. And I want to talk about your style of leadership. I'm hearing it through and through with what you're explaining, but can you talk to me about some of the principles of leadership for yourself that may be helpful for our audience and young people coming up listening to this and thinking about, that's a mark of a good leader that I want to emulate someday?
Yeah, let me give a shot at that. I think I'll divide it into three parts of leadership. First, there's sort of the executive leadership, who you surround yourself with, who is your team, who you're the people you trust and rely on. And for me, that's two things. One, you have to give trust freely. And to my leadership team, I trust you. I have to trust you. I give you that trust. And I expect trust in return. I don't expect loyalty. Yeah. I expect trust. And with that mutual trust, there's nothing we can't do, right? But I expect you to work, to get in there, roll up your sleeves, and I don't want to be the smartest person in the room. If I'm the smartest person in the room with that leadership team, I'm in the wrong room. So I've had the incredible fortune of bringing in some of the best minds in the public defender's office to be part of my executive team. Nice. And these are people, I came from the outside, as you know. Yes. And I've been here, and I'm starting my 8th year just around the corner, and I feel like I'm very much connected with the office. We've done most of the hiring of the new staff, so that office belongs to us now in that respect. But the individuals that are part of my executive team, they were raised in that office. And so I rely on them 100%. They are fantastic. That's the first part. Surround yourself with the brilliant, team, proud, strong people.
Got it.
Right? And then you have your next level of line management. These are really the people. People say, they're saying that a person will come to an institution because of its leader or because of its values, but they'll leave because of their manager, right? And I'm lucky here also. I have these line managers across all classifications who are dedicated to the people they work with, because that's who they go to. You go to every single day is your manager. And so I try to find people that understand our mission, vision, and values and embrace that in their day-to-day work and want to lift up the people that work with them. Yes. And are always looking out for their interest. And so we have line managers across it. They're in the trenches. The head deputies who are the lawyer managers carry cases, go to trial. which is something that hadn't been historically part of the department. And some people resisted it, but the new ones jump into it. And then the key part of it is on the ground. Yeah. The people who are connected with our clients, the people we serve. You take the traditional institutional structure of a pyramid with the boss and a bunch of people at the top making the decisions, you flip it upside down. And from the bottom, which is now the top, the ideas trickle down. And you get a lot of them. And you make the space for all those ideas. You level that floor and people can communicate across lines and you give them opportunities. One of our most amazing projects, the NDT, which is a Golden Eagle Award winner, right? Neurocognitive Disorders team. That team, fantastic. It wasn't something that some manager dug up on a corner and said, ooh, this would be a great, this is a lawyer who was impassioned by it, who really wanted to do this. Is important to him and the practice. And it was an entire part of our community, our clients that were being missed or misdiagnosed and weren't getting the services they needed. And so he brought this to us, felt confident to bring it to us. And what was our job? He still had to do his full caseload because like a lot of county, we run lean.
Stretch thin.
That's right. We are.
But get it done.
We're very stretched thin.
We get it done. Though.
We're stretched thin. To whoever's listening, thin. My belt is tight. But what we told him is like, we'll help you. Yeah. And when he felt that we would get paralegal and support and social worker, and now that team, like I said, is a national model and a Golden Eagle award winner. So that's listening to what people do every day.
All right. And then that third layer is the employees. When you flip it up, I got you.
Yes, you have. Look, if you're leading, if you have an organization, you're leading it, and you haven't flipped it upside down, you're not producing what you're supposed to be producing.
Understood. Yeah, and I love the concept, right? So folks, this idea of the filter too, right? Rather than it being from the top down, if you flip it, then it gets filtered, it gets better, it gets tested, and by the time it gets to you, right, you have pretty much a lot of input and can make a decision about something that's ready to go, right?
Most of the time, that's true. Yeah. But I also, my nature is, I like to walk the floor. I like to walk around and talk to people I work with.
Okay.
Look at the pictures in their office, get to know as much as I can about them.
Perfect.
I'm not bed checking because they got managers for that. But I like to know who they are. Yeah. And sometimes those ideas come right to me. Here's my idea. Now, of course, I tell them to take it to their manager. We'll get to it. But I hear them often in the raw. Yeah. And I love that because it tells me people are engaged and trying to do things better. Can't always do it, and that can be disappointing, and I know that. It can be hard on your heart and on your mind when you have this beautiful idea, and I tell you it's great, but keep those coming.
Yeah. You talked about strategic plan, values, mission. Can you share with us, and folks who are listening and going, I want, and, our younger folks today, and I can't believe it because I still feel young at heart, but.
You and me both.
Right? But there are a lot of people who who want to work in a place that aligns with their personal values and aligns with kind of their personal mission in life. Can you talk to us a little bit about your department's mission, values, and how you all are thinking about what you do and how you do it?
I think it's expansive. So we are the finest criminal defense firm in the country. That is our vision. Not just public defender, criminal defense firm in the country. And we are a beacon for client-centered representation. That means it's about the client. Everything we do every day is about those people that we serve, right? We are making evolutionary and revolutionary changes in the criminal legal system. Some things are evolutionary. They change beyond our control. Change in prosecutors. I'll leave it at that. But other things, we are active and engaging in how we change it. I've talked a little bit about that with NDT or with our community outreach programs. So that is our vision. A vision is something that is aspirational.
Yes.
If you can achieve that vision, you need to think bigger. You got to think big. And that is who we are, and how we should see ourselves, and how I want every lawyer and staff member across all the classifications to see themselves. Because when I say public defender, I mean investigator. I mean paralegal, I mean social worker, I mean volunteers. I don't just mean those of us who have a law degree, because we can't do our job without everybody else in that team. Our mission is about decarceration. It really is about reducing jail population, getting people out of cages. No one gets well in a cell. Every bit of evidence shows us that people get worse in every way possible when they're caged. But there's also these collateral consequences, things that happen to them when they're incarcerated, regardless of the result. And there are things that have drawn them in there. Now, we can't fix all of that, but we can begin to try to address them as the client needs it, whether it's housing, education, public service, whatever services, whatever it is. We can connect with outside expert agents. We can work with Partners for Justice, who we've connected with to ensure that our clients are connected to the right things. And then our values, right? Of course, we're zealous advocates for our clients, but compassion. Compassion in the way we tell the story about our clients. And I would say compassion towards each other, compassion towards one another and our fellow colleagues that we work with. You know, we are involved every day in the lives of other people and helping to make those lives better. I draw an analogy. Being a public defender is hard work. I'm not gonna lie, it ain't easy. We're not the sung heroes of the courthouse. Very, very rarely are we. But we are the people that are there when everything is down for a person, you know. When there is trouble, people call us. When someone's family member is in trouble, they call us. And we are there to help them. It's hard because when we do our work, I think I tell my lawyers, they're like surgeons. We start them off, they're working on a hand. There's always somebody on the other side trying to undo what we're trying to do. And we fight for the person, not the system.
Yes.
Some people forget that. We fight for the individual. That is our loyalty. And it goes back to something you alluded to earlier about our relationship with the county. I feel lucky to have landed in Los Angeles County. I've met some of the most incredible people that work for this county, yourself included. And
thanks.
One of the challenges I've had is I meet and work with these fantastic other departments that my job as a public defender is on behalf of my client. And so if anything else that happens that could have an adverse impact on my client, I got to stand in front of it and get in the way of it. And sometimes that isn't always connected with other agendas that we might have as a larger county. And it's a challenge balance.
Yeah. Folks, I hope, you know, there's some young person who is in law school, thinking about law school. I was on your website, and if this is you, you all have employment opportunities from youth law clerk positions, intern positions. So go on that website. If you buy into this vision, which I think most people, if not all, will, and want to work with some of the great people that are at this department, I'm telling you, go on that website and take a look, young folks. You guys really have some good stuff going on.
Let me add something to that. Even if you don't think you want to do this work, even if you don't know, I didn't know. I had spent a couple years in public defense before I realized I was a lifer. We have space for you. Come in. We will make room, and you will get to see some of the most amazing people at work helping other individuals. And you will learn direct services for another person. And you may end up saying that this isn't the work for you, and that's good. That's great, because you will go on to something else that you do love and are passionate with, and you will give it everything you are, and they will be fortunate to have you. But if you do realize that this is a place for you, and you do come to understand that, then we will be lucky to have you, because you will bring that passion and desire to help the people that we are here to help.
Yeah. You know, I know that as part of what you have built, you've created a few things in your department that you have done that didn't previously exist. The team tells me that you took 160 million records and digitized the office. So you've used technology to help enhance how your office operates and all of the work that from years and years, I'm sure, how you all are saving that information, right? And are there any other technology projects, things that you all are doing to revolutionize kind of the work and how it's being done in LA? Because what you do, the rest of the county rest of the world will follow.
I agree with you on that last part. It's a lot of responsibility,
Of course.
but what I will say is yes, our client case management system is amazing because a lawyer said one time, he said to me, time is money, right? We all have heard that saying. Paper is time. And so being able to have documents, all different kinds, discovery, reports, files, on a laptop that you can access anywhere saves time, makes you more effective. So that is a start. But we have so much material coming in, video, paper, and all. So to me, the future, well, no, it's not even the future. It is today.
We're here.
Is artificial intelligence. We have to embrace it. That is my next goal. We're already beginning to scrape the surface of how that can help us in our practice with reviewing body-worn cameras. We're looking at paper documents and making sure things go to the right place.
Yeah.
But we're only at the beginning stages of it. We need to embrace it. And I know some people have told me, well, what about the red-eyed robots when they come for us? Well, maybe they do, and if they do, they'll take me. But we need to focus on AI for us because it's volume work, and that's the way to make it. The tools. In addition to AI, I think some of the things that are important to bring is communication, right? One of the things the county has implemented, which I think is great, is the team system, right? And as we innovate with that consistently, I want to get it so that nobody in my office has a landline, and we're all working off Teams and our phones because there ain't no reason why we shouldn't be.
Yes.
That's innovation and embracing innovation that the county is already. I don't need to reinvent the wheel.
That's right.
The county's built that wheel. And I think the other thing that is really important to me is helping build a space where wellness matters. But I mean it this way. I can't teach wellness. I can't. I like to be choked in jujitsu to focus on other things. I don't know if I like it, but that's what I do. I love jujitsu.
Yeah.
Not everybody, I can't get all my staff to, I don't expect them to go and get up in the morning and get on the mat. I don't do yoga. I've tried. I can't do yoga. It's not for me. And there's a myriad of things. My wife's a runner, I don't run, etc. I can make the space, and I make the space, and I encourage all my team to make the time to embrace those things out of work that you're passionate about, physical and non-physical. Give it that love that you have for the office. The work will be there. Now, you can't believe you hear your boss say this. The work's going to be there tomorrow. Your heart and your mind have to be taken care of. I can't teach you wellness, but I can teach you resilience. And resilience is about building that wellness bridge that you have for yourself, whatever it might be.
Yeah. What are some of the unique challenges that, and this is kind of my first question, then we're going to go into this other little game we have. But what are some of the unique challenges that you all are facing?
That's
and
a
don't give me
loaded
all,
question.
Don't give me all of them. Just like one or two that you all are thinking through, and there might be some young person, period, doesn't have to be young, right? That may have some ideas and may be the future of change.
Well, the first one, and then we're all facing this right now in Los Angeles, is the incredible budget crisis that is confronting our county. It is painful for each one of us that works in this county who's dedicated their lives to public service as we look at how it is going to adversely impact our capacity to do what we love to do for other people. That is a challenge that we have in our office because, as some of you may not know, indigent defense is constitutionally mandated. And so if the public defender or the alternate public defender can't do the work because of resourcing, which is possible, the county still has to pay for that, and it's a burden for all of us. I think the other thing that is a challenge is the workload. But you know what I love about that challenge is that we can look at it. There was a national workload study that talked about the importance of doing what LA does best, the gold standard. Create the gold standard in workload analysis by creating a workload study that is focused on your particular location, using the data you have. Our case management system provides the data in a way that we never had before. And so we're engaged with the RAND Corporation to do an LA-focused workload study to tell us here in Los Angeles, not how to do it better, but what we need to do it. And those are two incredible challenges that we're facing. What I would ask any brilliant person out there is, as you look at, go on our website, as you look at the stuff we do, always tell me, what do you think, how can I do it better? How can I do it better? Just because I've been doing something a particular way for a certain amount of time doesn't mean it's the best way. It's just the way I know how to do it. So if you know a better way, or you think you might, let's talk about it, and we might find that it's true.
Yeah. Awesome. All right, folks. Now that was the hard part.
That was?
So thank you, Ricardo.
I had to bring my leg up here for security. I need a little security blanket.
Yeah, hold yourself.
I got my leg in close. This is a dangerous one.
Ricardo, you did amazing.
Thank you.
I really appreciate the perspective, and with each of these conversations, I'm just trying to learn a little bit more about you and your department. Sure. Having been here, a significant amount of time, it is. Yeah, I didn't say the number, but I didn't
ask you.
But I'm close to 20. But we have this little game we play called the lightning round. So we're gonna just shoot some questions off, and you tell me the first thing that comes to mind. These are easy, so don't worry about it.
I have to time myself for the answer?
No. But I'm sure you'll be quick with it.
All right.
Right? So Santa Cruz or Berkeley? You only can pick one.
Santa Cruz.
Awesome. Why?
Come on, it's Santa Cruz. You got the ocean and the mountains, banana slugs, tie-dye long hair, and Birkenstocks.
Yeah.
What more could you ask for?
Chill. Favorite activity in LA?
Walking.
If you didn't have your current position, what do you think you'd be doing?
I'd be a professor of history of consciousness at UC Santa Cruz.
Love it. What's your superpower?
What's my superpower? I know what I wish my superpower was. When I was a kid, I always wanted to be able to have the power to walk through a neighborhood that was broken down, maybe dirty, and make it beautiful again, the way it was when it was first built and created. That's what I want my superpower. I've always wanted to be.
Okay. All right. I'm thinking through that one, how we might be able to make that one happen, because I'd love to see that.
Yeah,
that happen throughout certain parts of LA.
So many places, right? And not just in LA. So many places where
the world.
If we could just that space, that block that is broken down, the building, just be able to walk through and boom, what was it like when people first imagined it?
Yep. One of your biggest influences or mentors growing up?
My grandmother and my mother.
3 words that describe that you would describe being a parent.
Challenging, love, patience.
What are you thankful for?
My family, my children, but most of all, my wife.
Past or present, and I think I know the answer to this, past or present, who's been your biggest hype person?
Oh my gosh. I have to say present. My son Simon is really kind of out of the blue. That kid, he wears public defender shirts to school, wants people to know his dad is the public defender.
Yeah.
He tells me, he Googles me with his friends. That guy is he is my hype man.
All right, little Simon, I love it.
Yeah,
I love
not so
it.
little. He's taller than I am.
Oh, okay, big Simon.
Yeah.
Oh man, that's awesome to have your kid doing that, man. Song or artist that's in rotation for you right now?
That's in rotation. I have a really eclectic taste. Most recently listened to Dead Can Dance with my wife. She's a big fan.
All right. If you could have dinner with anyone in the world, past or present, who would it be, and where would you take them?
See, this is not an easy one. I know this question's out there. I never thought about it too much.
Or maybe just the person and why.
I think present, probably Barack Obama. I think I'd ask him how did he deal with some of the anger and the cruelty being sent towards him? How did he, with such dignity, and how did he do that? And how does he dealt with the gray hair as he came in? Because he was such a young, good-looking guy, when he started.
What would be the title of your biography?
My biography would be Conquering Everest, My Life as the Los Angeles County Public Defender.
And I'm going to ask this final question, and I'm thinking about your grandma. And anyone, past or present, who would portray you when it's made into a movie?
Yeah, for Grandma, it'd have to be Jimmy Smits. I can't go any other way. If I don't say him, something's gonna happen to me at some point in time.
That's right.
From a power I can't control.
That's
so
right.
Jimmy Smits.
I understand.
As a young man.
As a young man.
Right.
Yeah, young Jimmy.
Young Jimmy.
Young Jimmy. All right. So that was our lightning round. That wasn't so bad, right?
No, a couple of those stumped me, but that's good.
That's good. That's good. Had you thinking a little bit.
You did.
So let's close this out. I have just a couple more closing questions for you. What has working for the county meant for you?
So I've worked for 2 counties.
This county.
Okay, yeah. So this county, it's been a privilege. It has been a privilege to be given the responsibility to lead this office, that the supervisors met me, talked to me, read about me, and took a chance on me. That has been, to me, the professional blessing of my life.
Yeah, yeah. I want to give you a moment to look into that camera, and I'd like you just for a moment, heartbeat, talk to your employees about the work that they're doing, and what they have to look forward to out of you. So just talk to them for a moment.
Sure. I get to sit here and do this great interview, but I only get to do it because of you. It's the work that you do every day that gives me the opportunity to represent you in circumstances like this and in community. And what you can expect from me always, 100%, is to show up with you and for you. And I can promise you that when you are successful, I will stand and scream your success out the window whenever possible. And when we fall short, I will look in the mirror, because that's on me. So I want to thank all of you for making the Los Angeles County Public Defender's Office the finest criminal defense firm in the country, and making me really one of the luckiest guys that I know, because working with each of you has really been and is the privilege of my professional career.
Ricardo, that wasn't so bad, right, brother?
No, it was good. And I've got great people, so it's not hard to thank them for being great.
Look, I want to thank you for the moment. I learned a little bit more about you. I learned a lot more about the people who are working for you.
Great.
And I just really want to I really want to thank you for your brand of leadership that you bring to the county, right? And how you are standing up for your employees, and we just, several of the leaders who have come in this chair. One thing that I think we're all learning as we watch our leaders is how they show up for others, not just their employees, but the people we serve speaks volumes about them.
Yeah,
thank you.
I think I appreciate that very much.
Yeah.
We're here to serve the people of Los Angeles County. Yeah. That is why I do what I do.
So folks, we want to thank you for joining us for another live from LA County podcast. And we want to thank Ricardo for joining us and helping us understand a bit more about his deep and inspiring work and the conversation that he provided us about justice, some of the great work that his team's doing, some of the award-winning work that his team is doing. I am certain there are young people out there like myself. When I went to law school, I wasn't quite sure what I was going to do next. And I got to tell you, if I heard this message, you might have got me.
I didn't know you were a lawyer.
Yes, I am. Yes, I am. And
see, we're not all bad. Lawyers are good.
We're not. And Ricardo, I want to thank you for your dedication and the work that you do, the difficult work that you do to help others. And until next time, folks, stay engaged, stay compassionate, and we look forward to you joining us for our next one. Take care.